Welcome back to Insight Indonesia, brought to you by the Jakarta Globe. I'm your host, Lin Neumann. Today we're talking with Andrew White, the Managing Director of AmCham Indonesia, the American Chamber of Commerce here in Indonesia. Andrew, we've talked about how to make a better investment climate and regulatory environments and one thing and another, and AmCham's new directions. What exactly, what in terms of nuts and bolts are you guys doing? What are the kind of activities that you're undertaking to build up the organization?
I mean, one of the things that what I'm focused on today, myself and the board, is to bring the committee structure. That's the engine for this, for the organization. So it's to bring the companies together that have issues, share information. So we're establishing now a trade and investment committee, and we're bringing companies in, talking about issues like the trade law, some of the agricultural issues. We're bringing the company experts together. What AmCham can do for the companies is we can get behind them. They have a lot of the resources, they have the information, but what we can do is help to drive those discussions at a governmental level or at the embassy level.
Can you get to a point where you can anticipate some of the regulatory problems before they become a surprise?
Absolutely, that's the goal, and is to be able to look forward. That's what we owe to our membership today.
Because things like the cabotage crisis last year affected American companies potentially, changes in the express mail delivery. There's so many of these things, and I've had friends from the chamber in Washington call me up and say, "Did you know about this?"
Right.
And I say, actually, no, I didn't know about it. I read about it just now, and it was past 6 months ago.
Well, that's why we're reaching out to the Indonesian organizations. We're reaching out across the ocean to the U.S. Chamber there, because the information's there. You just have to ask the right questions, and you have to. I don't sit behind the desk.
Right.
I'm out. And talking to people, and there's a lot of information that's sitting right in front of us, and what we're trying to do is get that to our membership.
So you find that if you talk, there is enough information to know what's going on. This is a crazy question from a journalist, but one of the hurdles that we face here in reporting on Indonesia, and the Indonesian press faces, is that, for example, the DPR does not routinely list or in a public manner the bills that are under consideration and the changes in those bills. You have to actually go over there physically and ferret it out from some office.
Well, the whole issue of transparency clearly is an issue for a lot of American companies, and to be able to know what legislation is coming forward. So, you know, that's something, there's no easy fixes for that. You just need to be out, you need to be talking to people, you need to be talking to people who can talk to people. That's my role at AmCham.
And then tell that story back to
our members.
Back to your members.
And we bring it into the committee structure, and the goal of this organization is to be the advocate, and that means knowing what's happening before it happens.
Now, is there a role in a place like AmCham for somebody other than a CEO?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tell us about that. How do younger people get involved in the AmCham?
Well, we have a young professionals structure, and what that does is bring the 30-somethings to the table. They've got the ideas, not only socially, but these are people who are up and coming in their own organization, so that's one role. Service sector is very important to us as an organization, the smaller companies. They're a great source of information for us, but we owe it to those companies to be able to help them to navigate some of the things that larger companies would have more of a challenge. For the larger companies, what they're looking for is they're looking for the weight of AmCham to get behind them on some of the sensitive issues where they don't want to come in as a single company, but these cut across sectors, and then we can come in as a kind of what we want to do is make sure that the sum is greater than its parts. And we have 500 companies, and we can put that to work. And
there obviously is a role there, I'm sure, for quiet lobbying, to go and have a conversation with somebody and say, did you know that the American businesses feel this way?
Exactly.
And that's obviously not the kind of thing you publicize, but it's something that is also, I think, very important.
Absolutely, and those are one-on-one conversations where you talk to the legislators, you talk to the government officials, and you bring forward, you put on their table some of the concerns. And you don't need to do that publicly. That's a conversation.
Now, you worked in Indonesia for a few years, and then you came back. How's it different from when you were here 5 years ago? and in your role now? How do you find it? How do you find it changing?
Well, it's like seeing an old friend you haven't seen for a few years, and you look and you say, what's changed? In some ways, Indonesia's changed in the sense that when I was here before, it had just begun the democratic process. Things were just beginning to pick up. Now I come back and I look at Indonesia, you know, things are looking very, very optimistic, you know, I mean, with investors on the sidelines. But I'm a friend of Indonesia. So when I look at the potential, I'm very optimistic. On the other hand, there's an opportunity right now that won't come again. And if we can fix the types of issues like making sure the skilled labor is there, letting business operate, you know, letting them be quick and move forward, I think there's a great opportunity. If we don't get that right for Indonesia today, a lot of the money that's sitting on the sidelines right now is going to be looking at elsewhere.
You know, this is one of the things that that I think a lot of us have some concern about, is that there's a sense that Indonesia is already a huge success. My feeling, it's on the way to being a huge success, but it's going to take a lot of cooperation from a lot of different sectors for it to get there.
It is. I mean, Indonesia has to run fast just to keep where it is today in terms of the competition that it's competing with the Singapores, the Malaysia, the Philippines, and the Thailand. So it needs to move quickly, and this is the time right now. It's a critical thing. Our role is to help our friends in the government and others to make the right decisions, to be at the table with them, to give them our best information so that they can move it forward.
Well, it sounds like you're doing the right thing, talking to people.
Thanks, Lin.
Put a smile on your face.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You keep things going, and I think all of us hope that there's not an antagonistic relationship, certainly, between foreign investors and foreign businesses and the regulatory and governmental structure here. I think that's what everybody sees as really very important. And any big events coming up for AmCham before we run out of time?
Well, you know,
Also, there's the website is up there.
Yeah, what I would encourage anyone who's not a member of AmCham today, contact the website, contact me directly. You know, I'm here. As I said, I don't sit behind the desk.
Right.
Give us a call. We'll bring you into the loop. The commercial dialogue process that we're undergoing right now with the Indonesian organizations and the U.S. government is a great opportunity for companies. So come on down.
Okay, well, a lot of you, you saw the website. You get a chance to get involved with AmCham if you'd like, and take advantage of all the expertise that's over there and add your expertise to it. You've been watching Insight Indonesia, brought to you by the Jakarta Globe. The show is on live streaming at www.BeritaSatu.tv and BeritaSatu.com. We put the shows up online at thejakartaglobe.com. Thanks for being with us.